歡迎收睇我哋嘅三藩市市長選舉候選人訪問。Sitting next to me is Michelle, our mayoral candidate. Hello, Michelle.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you for coming today.
So we're in your office. Can you share with our audience the meaning of this place to you?
Well, I'm very proud to actually have my office at the historic 450 Sutter Dental and Medical Building. It's just a beautiful building. And I also wanted to make sure that you knew, and certainly the voters know, that, I'm a regular person. I'm not a career politician. I decided to, bring you folks here to see that I work in an office. I have a business, a small business, like many in the Chinese community, many people in San Francisco.
Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. So, I am a sixth-generation native Northern Californian. I grew up in San Francisco in the Sunset District. As I was mentioning earlier, most of my friends growing up, at Abraham Lincoln High School, where I attended, most of them were from Hong Kong. After high school, I decided to go into the military. After that, I went into the video games industry. I always loved video games, and I did marketing management. And then I did that for about 7 years, and then I got a little bit bored. So I took the year off, took some classes in holistic health. In 2006, I started my practice, and here we are.
You're a veteran. What you did at that time?
Sure. So when I was I was actually in the United States Marine Corps. But the main reason I decided to go into the military was, my former partner had gotten very sick with pneumonia. And as you know, healthcare benefits have always been a challenge in our country. And the military, actually, if you're married, they pay for 80% of your spouse health benefits. So that was a very strong reason that I had wanted to join.
You have different occupations before.
I have. I'm an adventurer for sure.
So what brings you to politics now? What's in your mind when you decided to run?
So first and foremost, I'm sure you've seen the state of our city in San Francisco, especially lately. We seem to have had a sudden increase in our transient and homeless population on the streets, but it's not sudden. There were some very specific things that happened with city government to have caused this and to put us where we're at right now. People want to specifically, blame technology companies. I worked in tech. I don't blame them necessarily. The previous administration invited these folks in without a long-term plan for where all the workers were going to be housed. As a result, we had, landlords start to evict people. So a lot of the people that we see on the street, about 71% of these people that are transient/homeless, they used to have homes in San Francisco not that long ago. I have many clients who come to me, they're stepping in human excrement. The bark smells like urine. They're afraid to take muni. I keep hearing this. And it does no good for me to just speak out on Twitter or to speak out on Facebook. No good. I decided to take action.
If you were elected, what would be your first priority to tackle with?
My first priority would be to work with the state of California to help San Francisco solve the homeless issue. We have had this issue since the 1980s. If San Francisco were able to do it on their own, they would have done it by now. We had a budget surplus, could help us to build maybe a holistic mental health and wellness institute. That would be my proposition. The city of San Francisco has 54 parcels of land, that they're not using for anything. There are 8 buildings available on 8 of those parcels. Perhaps either turn one of them into a mental health institution. It's affecting businesses in San Francisco. Tourists are afraid to come here. It's affecting our Muni ridership. The transients, they're using Muni and BART like a public toilet and a mobile home. The other day I saw 3 empty Muni buses drive by. Empty. You know why? They're taking Uber and Lyft instead of taking Muni. And yet we have SB 827. Senator Wiener is pushing this bill to build more box housing next to Muni when nobody is taking Muni. So this building is not going to solve our issue. We need to put people first, then housing.
You kind of think like if there are too much population in San Francisco, it may get more burden to the San Franciscan here.
Not only
Or the public workers.
Yes, that's really my concern. Right now, San Francisco does not have a requirement where our first responders must live. We have over 70% of the police and firefighters living outside. If we have an earthquake in San Francisco, and we have almost 1 million people now, if we add more people with this requirement that is not in place, we are asking for a lot of trouble. This is another thing that I would make sure gets done. By 2025, I want at least, if not more, than 50% of the first responders, cops and firefighters, living in San Francisco. Work with developers to make sure that a certain percentage of homes are set aside, give priority to the first responders. We need those cops and firefighters and emergency medical technicians to come to our aid if something happens in our city. And if they don't live here and can't get across the bridges, remember, the earthquake, 1989, Bay Bridge was closed. And then maybe the cops wouldn't want tasers because they would have San Francisco values because their kids go to school here. They interact with other people. They're on riding muni, so they want to see it clean, so they can care more about us. Because right now, I don't really see that happening.
What do you think you most stands out or different from other candidates?
Well, first of all, I am a holistic health practitioner. No one else is really in the health and medical field. The second thing that really makes me stand out is I was the only mayoral candidate, the only one, who attended the San Francisco Police Commission's meeting on the policy for taser weapons. I am very much an opponent of taser weapons because of what they can do to the human body. They can kill. If they die and their family is upset and decides to sue the city of San Francisco, it may not stop there. Perhaps the officer is also personally sued, or maybe the whole police department. If these people are killed by taser weapons by some policeman who doesn't live here, who is traveling far away to come to our city, they're tired, they're cranky, they may get a little lazy, and they tase somebody. What happens then? No one is thinking long term once again.
You mentioned of your Hong Kong friend and Chinese friend. What do you think that is the most concern in the Chinese or Asian community?
What I see now is we have, so first of all, to go to Chinatown right now, it's very densely populated. And we have a lot of people living in SROs, entire families in one room. We really need to look at what we can do to improve the lives of people who are there, and really inviting the Chinese community to open forum, to, just like I'm doing these mayoral forums, let's hear what they need and really take stock.
Of all the candidates, who will you want to vote for?
That is a tough question. I will, of course, vote for myself because I've spent time and money and a lot of heart in my campaign. I can understand why people are wanting to vote for both Jane Kim and Mark Leno. Jane Kim has been in a supervisory role in San Francisco for almost 8 years. She's almost termed out. She has done a lot of good for the city, but I'm also going to say this. She's also done a lot of patting herself on the back for what she's done. Mark Leno, he's also very strong. He seems to have a lot of connections with the state of California and with a lot of other people who might be able to help San Francisco. I would actually have Mark Leno as my second. He would be my vice mayor. I like them both, but in terms of learning opportunity for myself, Mark Leno.
Thank you, Michelle, for joining us here today. Here is our mayoral candidate, Michelle Fargo.